Hey guys! So, are you hungry yet? After seeing some of my snippets of my food uh, uh, experiences in Goreme, Cappadocia. So, yun. Specifically, we are tackling yung mga recommended food ko in Cappadocia, and I centered it in the city or in the parang um, um, central location of Cappadocia, which is called Goreme. Um, so, na-mention ko sa previous na video ko na I like kebab. As in, like ko talaga siya. Pero, alam mo yung ibang lasa talaga yung authentic kebab. And, when you go to Turkey, I never thought that there are several types of kebab, like super um different variations of kebab, which I wanna share with you guys. Since kebab would be really one of the top food that you really need to try in Turkey, wherever you are, but specifically in Cappadocia. Oh my gosh, they have several types of kebab that you need to try on. They have like a pizza kebab, they have the regular kebab that you know, and something interesting is what they call pottery kebab, or locally they call it testy kebab. So although they call it pottery kebab, there are many sub variations of a pottery kebab. So it's called pottery kebab because mainly it's cooked and prepared via a pottery, which you saw earlier in my video. And there are different styles, like some are like sizzling pottery kebab, and then some are like parang caldereta style, like a Spanish style of kebab. But everything, all the pottery kebab or tasty kebab that I've tried is really a must try. If you need to choose what kind of kebab you want to try, at least the first kebab that you want to try, I would recommend for you to try pottery kebab, whatever that kind of pottery kebab is, because definitely that's one of a kind. It's something that only in Cappadocia that I saw, because if you go to Istanbul, or even in Pamukkale, or even in Ephesus, which are the places that I've actually visited in Turkey, I haven't seen a pottery kebab. So I think that is something that is popularized. I'm not sure, but based from my actual experience, that's the only place that I saw a pottery kebab, which are all different. But I must say, everything looks and tastes good. So it's a must try for me in the world of kebab with all the variations. And then second would be, I would have to say, pizza kebab is also very good. It's not salty. It's like if you are in an American style pizza, it's like an overloaded meat delight, something like that. Of course, the crust is not your typical pizza crust, but it's like hummus crust, but it's definitely good. Actually, even though the size of the pizza kebab is relatively small as compared to what a small pizza is, I cannot finish it for some reason. Maybe because their pizza kebab is overloaded. But in all the variations of kebab, I must say pizza kebab would be the cheapest of them all, mainly because it's considered like an appetizer and not really a main meal as compared to pottery kebab and even the regular kebab, or the traditional kebab that we all know. So that's one. Kebab, it's really a must try, especially in Turkey because of course that's what they're popular of, right? And then in Cappadocia, please don't forget butter kebab as your number one, or testy kebab as what they say. And then second that I recommend would be their sweets. It's something that not everyone discuss, but I think they already perfected their creme brulee. So I'm a sweet I have a sweet tooth, and I really like my meal to have a dessert. And I've tried their, of course, their chocolate, their ice cream, but something that stands out in Cappadocia is their creme brulee. There's something about their creme brulee that makes me want to eat more. Definitely it's much sweeter than the ordinary creme brulee. So that's a warning for you guys who doesn't like too much sweet stuff. But it's nice for it to be paired with their traditional tea. Um, for starter, I am not a lover of tea. But at least if you're there, nothing hurts if you try at least once their traditional tea. And for some restaurants also, since it's a traditional tea and it's like a delicacy for them, they're giving it like an appetizer, which is for free. So it's like if you're in Korea, kimchi is free. If you are here in the Philippines, rice is a staple. So it's that it's tea is the version of that in Turkey. So for me, I'm not really into tea, and I feel nothing really special about their tea. Or well, don't take my word for it because I'm not very knowledgeable with tea since I do not prefer tea. But based on at least what I've tasted, like even like a Lipton tea or all the bag teas, I don't see any difference. But I must say creme brulee is a must try as their dessert. Another thing that I like in terms of food in Cappadocia is that specifically in breakfast. So trivia, I like breakfast food. But sometimes or most of the time I don't eat it during breakfast time. But I like the breakfast food. But what's nice about Cappadocia is that um if you wake up early and if you eat their breakfast food, which is served as early as like 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. Sorry, 11 a.m. in the morning, their spread, their regular breakfast spread is like a buffet meal, which is so much for one person. That is one of the videos that I saw that I shared to you earlier before me talking to you guys. What are my recommended meals? I swear, it's parang one order of breakfast meal for one person, and yet you get a platter of different cheese, different types of bread, which I like. Um, and then you have main courses, you have chocolate, different types of chocolate, different types of spreads. You have jams, you have strawberry jams, blueberry, you even have sausage and chips, and also wow, you can really get the value for your money, I must say, for breakfast, specifically for breakfast, which I really enjoy and would be very beneficial because you know what, guys, in Cappadocia, to be able to go around, you need to have a car or at least take a taxi because the restaurants are really far from each other. Not unless you are in the center hub, wherein when I say center hub, meaning it's like a terminal of for buses, uh, for where you load or unload whenever you travel either from Istanbul or Pamukkale or Ephesus to Cappadocia. So you really need to have your own car or rent a taxi to be able to not only to go from one restaurant to another, but even to go around Cappadocia. It's not something that you can do it by walking, and there's no bus, there's no train. You really need to have a taxi. Um, and uh, while there are several restaurants in Goreme, I must say that there are also quite good restaurants that are far from Goreme. And I must say that um, each restaurant, so that it would be easier for you to choose, each restaurants or each part of the location of Cappadocia is categorized according to the prices. So Goreme as the center is the cheapest, or at least kind of middle class or middle priced kind of food. It's while the price is not that expensive, I must say, since I've tried it, I must say that the food still tastes good. In fact, those are the places that I recommend. But as you go along, as you go further, the prices also increases, and you will also see variations of fine restaurants as compared to what you can see in Goreme, which is like not really fast food, but for them that's their version of easily accessible food. Not really a kiosk, not a stall. You can expect like a truck version, like what you see in the US, or even in Europe. It's really like a restaurant wherein you need to go inside the store, and definitely there's a picturesque view. That's why it's popular in Goreme, because that's where most of the spots for hot air balloon experience is happening. So so it's a combination also of indoor and outdoor dining, so it depends on your preference, especially now that it's still COVID, or while if you want to go to an alfresco dining, you may still do so, or indoors will also be no problem. So those are my recommendations. And then in terms of restaurants that I would say recommend, since Cappadocia is really hard to go around with or navigate, I must say you need to prepare a budget for your transportation, since I've said that you need to rent a taxi plus a driver to be able to eat to that restaurant. So my recommendation is, when you choose your accommodation, choose an accommodation where there is an offering for breakfast already. And while there are several accommodations that offer a free breakfast together with your accommodation, read also the reviews for the breakfast that they're offering, because some or most of the accommodations, while they offer breakfast, you need to know and be prepared just to manage your expectation that the menu doesn't change. So for example, if you stay in that accommodation for 3 days, then for 3 days it's the same breakfast menu that you can expect. That's one. And then another thing is that some accommodation doesn't also offer a buffet type of meal. So unlike other accommodations, especially in most of the cities like in US or even in Asia, diba? it's always a buffet type. But of course, there are some there are some accommodations that still accommodate buffet type. But I must say, one thing that is value for money would be Rock's Boutique. Rock's Boutique is an accommodation slash a photo spot slash also a restaurant. So definitely it's picturesque because it's one of those nice spots wherein it's very popular when you search in Pinterest or even in Instagram. A photo in Cappadocia wherein you're sitting outdoors with a carpet, and then you can see um the hot air balloon flying on top of you, and you can eat outside. Rock's Boutique is one of those places, and I would like to recommend Rock's Boutique because for one, their prices for the food is not that expensive. Second, you get the picturesque vibe that you want, and third, um it's also you also get an additional vibe of um a scenery of not only the hot air balloon but also the caves, and also parang something more dramatic for your photos. And in terms of accommodation, Rock's Boutique is also not that expensive, and yet the rooms and your stay, uh the host is nice. So I must say, if there is an available spot for Rock's Boutique, then it's nice for you to check it out. Plus, it's located in Goreme, which is the center, and most probably if you're in Cappadocia, your most uh most anticipated experience would really be hot air balloon. So that will be very strategic for you guys. So that's one. And then I will never forget, this is where I tasted my most memorable kebab. One of Although there's of course there are several restaurants that offering pottery kebab, but I must say my local restaurant um offers a unique serving of pottery kebab. So what they do is that they have a waiter, or they have a servant who will cook or who will prepare the kebab in front of you using all the pottery and all, which is nice because you know that um you first you're interested how will a pottery kebab be prepared, and then second, you know that the material or the food that you will eat is something safe and fresh. Plus, Mi Local is very popular in Goreme because it has a picturesque location, whether or not you go in the morning, lunchtime, or even at night. But if you go at night, please wear a jacket because it will be cold, it will be windy because it's located uphill. That's why it's a good location. And there's no obstruction. So if you go during daytime, if you're lucky and there's hot air balloon experience, then you can definitely have them as your backdrop. And if you also eat indoors, no worries because it's very Instagrammable. Plus they have a wide array of menus, so it's a fusion. So if you don't like Turkish, they have Italian, they have American, and they even have wine. So most of the time people go there for celebration, for date nights, something like that. Like when I stayed when I tried Milokal, there are several people there who celebrated their birthday and family gathering and even a date night, which is very cute. But one thing that you need to also remember is that you can't walk in Milokal. Actually, for most of the nice restaurants, Most so for fine dining. You can't walk into that restaurant. You need to do your reservation. So they're very reachable via WhatsApp, which you can find in their Instagram account. So yun. They're very fast in terms of giving feedback whether or not um, you have they have a slot for you based on your preferred schedule, and they can also suggest if, for example, your preferred schedule is already full. So mostly the schedule will be full towards 4 o'clock onwards, because nighttime in Goreme is very early. So it's sunset time around 4. So it's a mixture. If you want to capture a mixture of daytime with the dramatic scenery of the sun going down, sunset, plus nighttime, then I suggest you reserve a spot. You reserve a spot in Milokal around 4 to 5 p.m. But not 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Is really really dark already. Actually 5 p.m. is already dark, so I must say like 3:30, something like that. So there, and also please take into consideration that the travel time, because Milokal is quite far from the terminal, or downtown, as they say. So that's one. And then if you want to have something which is a cheaper version of Milokal, but you want to have a superb experience of a kebab or even a steak, if you want, you can go to this popular restaurant also, which is called Top Deck restaurant, which is in Goreme. It's popular because it's nearby downtown or nearby the terminal station. It's before the Melokal. It's not that far. The price is definitely cheaper. And you also get the view, but not that, in terms of view, if we will compare Melokal view and also top view deck, and you want to have that backdrop of hot air balloon, then I would recommend Melokal, because definitely the higher your location the better, because there's lesser obstruction for your photo, versus top deck. Top deck is okay, but if you really want to have that superb picture, then I must say it's Melokal. But of course, you need to prepare for your budget for it, not only for transportation but also the menu, because it's quite expensive, but relatively manageable. So there, I hope you enjoy my foodie focused hacks or recommendations, specifically in Cappadocia. Thanks, guys.